Hey guys, it's Fia, back from Fia's Handmade Soaps, and I am coming to you with another hot process video. This soap is going to be pine tar and neem oil for itchy skin. Usually I make the neem soap, but this time I'm adding some pine tar into it. I've made the pine tar soap without neem, but you know, this time I'm going to do both. So in here I got my shea butter, coconut oil, and my neem oil all melted. And in here, as you can see how dark it is, I have my pine tar, which is at 10%. My pine tar, olive oil, castor oil, and sweet almond oil in here. Dark as sin. Excuse the nasally going on. I have a head cold, you know, where you always stuffy. Like, I'm not sneezing or coughing or anything. I'm just really stopped up and nothing else. So, I'm a little nasally. Now, since that's all melted, crock pot's on high. I'm going to pour in my pine tar and other oils. Get those. Where's my whisk? I did not get my whisk. Now put the neem oil in with the hard oils to melt, because since it's winter here in Philly, the neem oil was just like frozen. Yeah, and it sits in the kitchen in the cabinet with the rest of the oils, and I went to take the bottle out and it was frozen. So I warmed it up in like a pot of water, just sitting in the pot of water, either that or the microwave, and just so I can get it out the bottle. But see, I prepped last night, so after I prepped last night, I just put the hard oils in here, put the top one, just set it to the side for the night, and the soft oils went in here. So I just decided to put the neem oil in here with the hard oils, since apparently I have to melt that too. I didn't want it to get, you know, to put it in here and leave it overnight. I don't know what it would have done. Probably nothing. I doubt it would have got hard again, but you never know. So I just put it in with the other stuff to melt when I turn on the crock pot today. Trying to get everything out before I add the lye. But yeah, it's gonna be one dark soap. It's gonna be like a darker than chocolate brown, almost black. And I'm not putting any color or anything in it, like titanium dioxide. I'm not lightening it up or anything. I'm going to just leave it as dark as it wants to be. Yeah, I'm going to leave it just like it is. Alright, I'm done doing this. This is annoying. Okay. So, where's my whisk? So I have my aloe vera juice with lye mixed here. And I don't think I want to stick blend this. I'm afraid that this might, I don't know, the pine tar, I'm afraid it would just make it rock hard, and then I would panic like I did the last video, because everything got really stiff from all the additives I had put in there. But the pine tar, it's pretty thick, so yeah, I don't think I'm going to be stick blending this one. So what I'll do is I'll just put you guys on pause until something happens, because yeah, no, I am not stick blending this pine tar. And thank goodness I can't smell anything. I'm pretty stopped up. This pine tar smells so bad, I'm going to have to put this soap in the basement, because the pine, if you don't like the smell of it, oh, it's really, like, it makes my stomach hurt when I can smell it. And it has the house smelling like pine tar for 2 weeks before it dissipates. 2 weeks. I was like, no. So I'm going to put this on a shelf in the basement, right? I have a cabinet and shelving right in the basement door, so if you open the door. So this, I think that's where I'm going to put this. I can smell a little bit of something. It's already, oh my goodness, just pouring a lye in here and it's already thick. Oh yeah, no. I'm not stick blending this at all. Yeah, it don't look thick, but boy, it's, look at that already. Just put the lye in there. So you know what? I'm gonna turn this crock pot down on low, just in case. And I might get another. Let me get another cardboard because I don't trust this pine tar. My cardboard consists of like cereal boxes. I just opened up. So let's see if we can get this in here. Okay. Alright. Hopefully that's enough. Oh Jesus. Look at that. Ooh. Yeah, that worked pretty fast. I guess no need to put you guys on pause. Jesus. Now, pine tar and neem oil helps with skin conditions. Well, it's known. I'm sorry. It is known to help with skin conditions like psoriasis, eczema, I think even acne. Or, you know, I don't know if acne is considered a skin condition, but yeah. Any type of, you know, stuff like that. And I make this soap for my son who has eczema. He's 2. And he's had eczema for since he was a few months old, maybe, no, before he turned 1, I think he had the eczema. Yeah, look at that already. I feel like this is getting too thick for my whisk. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yep, too thick for my whisk. And can you imagine if I'd have put the stick blender in here? Jesus. I don't even want to think about if I'd took out the stick blender. Oh, and there I go, flinging soap all over the place. That's me, Fia the soap flinger. Oh my goodness. Come on. I didn't want to have so much soap stuck in there, but you know what? Get out. Whatever. Oh my God. Look. Oh my goodness. I did not pause this at all. This is crazy. But boy, does it look like a bowl of fudge. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Yeah, this is what I was saying with the pine tar. It's so thick. I mean, in the can it's not that thick, but it automatically makes your soap thick when you use it. So you got to be really careful when you add it to your cold process soap. When you making stuff, you're trying to do a design, or I don't know why you would do a design with pine tar, but usually if you're making a pine tar soap, you just put the pine tar in there, stir it up, and put it in the mold. You're not doing anything cheap with it, because this is what happens. This is what happens when you just mix it in a bowl. So you have to be really quick. And being so I got it in a crock pot, it'll it'll soften up a little bit, separate like usual. It's just probably going to take a minute. Oh my goodness. Yeah, look at this. I can smell a tiny bit of it in this vial. Still flinging soap. And you ask, if it smells so bad, why would you want to put it on your body? Because it's good for, it's known to help with skin conditions. And my son has eczema, and neem and pine tar definitely helps his eczema. Along with shea butter. This is a thick mess. But it should start to loosen up some as it heats up. It'll start to, melt down and go to the applesauce stage. If it stays like this, I don't know what to do. So what I'm going to do is let it sit for a minute. Yeah, I think I'm going to let it sit for a minute and see what happens. Let it, get hot enough to start to separate, which is the applesauce stage. And then, I'll stir it again. Bring it back together. Trying to get all the soap off the spoon, because I gotta stick the spoon back in the bowl, and you don't want a bunch of hard, crusty soap pieces on your spoon and putting it back into your soap. Okay. And of course, I flung some more soap. Yo, what is with me flinging soap all the time? I don't know. I just don't know. Via the soap flinger. They got a nice ring to it. Get in there. Some more cord. I got some more to cord. Yeah, pretty much got soap everywhere. And I'll bring you back when I guess something happens. Okay, so it's been about maybe 10-15 minutes, because I forgot that I had turned it on low, and when I put the lye water in there, and I'm like, why is it not doing anything? It's because it's on low. So I had to turn it on high, so I can see bubbles forming in there. So it should be melting down really good. And I can see the oil pooling in there. So I'm going to stir it down. Oh, look at that! Yeah, that's really good. My husband has informed me, who can smell, he informed me that it smells absolutely horrible. He came in saying, what is that? It smells so bad. It's funny. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad I can't smell a thing. Because pine tar really smells bad. Like, really bad. I already made a nice spot on the basement shelf for it, and hopefully we won't smell it through the door, which is possible. Usually I use a whisk, but this is too thick for a whisk. Yeah. So this, for pine tar, this is the applesauce stage. Yeah, it melted down really good. And before you know it, mashed potato will be here. I can smell a little bit of it. So, those of you who will try your pine tar hot process, this is what you'll expect. Even though I did hear some people put their pine tar at the end of cook, like a super fat. I ain't want to do that. I like my shea butter at the end of cook as a super fat. So I figured I'd just put it in with the oils. Yeah, I guess the soap is a chocolate brown. I thought it would turn out like more blackish, but no, it's chocolate brown. And pretty much no percentage, any percentage that you use of pine tar in your soap is going to look like this. My first time making it for my son Austin, it was only 5%, and it was just dark like this. But I added titanium dioxide to lighten it up to like a caramel color. I don't know why I lightened it up. I just didn't want a chocolate brown soap. But I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. This is, let me see. This is shea butter, olive oil, pine tar, coconut oil, castor oil, sweet almond oil, and neem oil. Last but not least. And I used aloe vera juice for my liquid. At the end, I'm going to add some coconut milk with 4 tablespoons of agave. With some added sugar, which will give you added bubbles. I would use honey, but I wanted this batch to be all vegan. All vegan, so coconut milk instead of goat's milk, and agave instead of honey. Otherwise, I would have used goat's milk and honey. But I wanted this batch to be all vegan. And what else? No, that's it. Oh, and sodium lactate, of course. Which sodium lactate is just like liquid salt that helps to get your soap out of the mold and to help keep your hot process fluid in the end. Pretty much. I don't know if you can tell the texture is changing. We're moving into the mashed potato stage. And I flung some more soap. Oh, Jesus. I don't know why I keep flinging soap. I just don't. Okay, so so we are at the mashed potato stage. If you see the difference in consistency, how thick it is now. Yes, it's thick. It's starting to get hard to stir. So we have definitely hit the mashed potato stage, and I think it's done. It's really thick, so I think this pine tar soap is done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Sap test. Okay, so you pick from here, do a Sap test. So it's your Sap test, you just take a little piece, you know, like that, or smaller, it doesn't matter. Wait till it cool, of course. You want it to be cool. And you touch your tongue to it. Or you could, what can you do? You lick your finger, touch the soap, and then put it to your tongue. Either way, Sap test. So what I usually do is put my tongue to the soap because it just tastes like soap. It's not going to kill you. If it zaps, a zap feels like a little sting, sort of like you put your tongue to like a battery, like you did when you were a kid. But to me, it's not as strong. Yeah, just like a little zap. If you feel that, you'll know when you get zapped because it'll feel like a little jolt. Then you know you gotta keep cooking it. But if you taste it and it just tastes like soap, and it's, of course, it's pretty nasty, it's done. It's done a lot. Oh, so nasty. Yeah, it's definitely done. So when you Sap test your soap and no zap, then you want to turn it off. You turn it off and start adding your additives. And then you mold. So what we have is, I got 5% shea, and 5% of this batch is, what is it, 3.20 ounces? Yep. So I'll put that on in there. Okay. The spatula did not want to stay in my hand. So yeah, I already microwaved the shea butter. So that's why it's liquid. You know, sometimes I just put it in there the way it is and let it melt. But sometimes that takes too long. So I decided to microwave it this time. The shea butter's always so oily. Okay, so I got my sodium lactate, which is liquid salt, and that also helps to keep it fluid, but also it helps to come out the mold better. So with sodium lactate, you have to do 1 teaspoon per pound of oil. Since this is 4 pounds of oils, I do 4 teaspoons of sodium lactate. My Nurture soap spoon thingy here, so 4 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all. Before I add the coconut milk, I'm just gonna stir this up. Stir it up good. You want to make sure your super fat and your sodium lactate is all mixed in there. Make sure you get the bottom too. So when you stir it up good, make sure you don't see any oil on the bottom, on the sides. If you do, that means you did not stir it up good enough, and you gotta keep stirring. Okay, so I have, this is my coconut milk here. I put it in a cup. Let me shake it up. Sometimes, because coconut milk tends to separate. Before I put my coconut milk in, I have my agave. I hope you can see that good. 4 tablespoons. You can do teaspoons if you want. I like to do tablespoons. And I mix it. I always put it into the coconut milk or whatever liquid I'm adding at the end, because if you just put the honey in there the way it is, it might be fine. Or, I mean, I keep saying honey. Honey, agave, any type of syrup like this, you could just put it in there the way it is. I mean, if you mix it up real good, you'd be fine. But just in case, I might not mix mine that well, so I like to dissolve it into some type of liquid, warm it up a little bit, stir it up, and then pour it in. That's just what I do. It minimizes you getting honey or syrup spots, which will, when you cut your soap, it'll start to seep out. So just to prevent that, just disperse it into some type of liquid, whatever liquid you add at the end. If you're not adding any liquid at the end, then take a chance, or just save a little bit of your main liquid for the end, just to mix with your honey or syrup or agave. And you can just get this agave from the supermarket, you know, in the aisle with the sugar, where it's probably like right next to the Splenda and Sweet and Low, because it's supposed to be a natural sweetener. So I'm going to nuke this for 5 seconds or so. Okay. I wound up nuking it for about 30 seconds. So yeah, just coconut. This is coconut milk and agave. This is how I disperse my honey, agave, syrup, whatever. Okay. You don't have to add any extra liquid. At the end of your cook, you could water discount, and at the end, put it in the mold. You'll be good. But I like to add, I just water discount and add it back at the end to, you know, keep it fluid enough to really go in the mold good, and when you stamp it down, it, you know, it minimizes air bubbles and those spaces in between your soaps. Whereas if your soap is really, really dry because you probably overcooked it, this would help. And add your liquid at the end would definitely help with that. I think I said before, if you just trying your hand-to hot process, after that, when you mix everything in here, you put everything in a bowl, like you saw in the beginning. Either you whisk or you use a stick blender, it'll start to thicken up a little bit, and then it'll start to separate. All you do is either stick blend it back together or whisk it, stir it, whatever you want to do. That's the applesauce stage. Now, when it comes back together, that's the mashed potato stage. That's when you know it's pretty much done. If your soap is not lye heavy, like if you measured everything correctly and your scale was working great, and if everything is measured correctly, once you get to that mashed potato stage, you maybe give it 5 minutes or so, but your soap is pretty much done. You do a Sap test. I know a lot of people don't like to do a Sap test, but you know what? Some Sap tests, they help. They help if you're not familiar with what it looks like when your soap is done. It helps to know, you know, when your soap is done, so you can turn it off and just stop overcooking it. Because if you overcook it, it's going to be dry and ugly looking. Your hot process soap does not have to be ugly looking. You're just overcooking it. So just do your Sap test. Once it comes back together, once your applesauce stage comes back together and it gets all thick, you know it's the mashed potato stage, just take a little piece off to the side and do a Sap test. Either touch your finger to it or your tongue. It doesn't matter. It's really quick. It just tastes like soap. It's not bad. It won't kill you. And if it doesn't zap, turn your fire off. Fire. Well, I guess if you're doing a stovetop, yeah. Turn your fire, crock pot, whatever you use, and turn it off. Because it's done. You don't want to overcook it. I'm adding a little bit at a time because I don't want to be splashing this stuff all over the place, which is usually what I do. And after this, I'm just going to mold it because I don't have any fragrance or any color or anything to mix in here, so I'm good. I thought it was, the cup is so heavy, I thought it was something still in there. See? And it just looks like a bowl of pudding. And I like, most of the time, I like to keep my bowl in the hot pot thing here because I still like to keep it warm. I still want it to stay warm. I don't want it to cool off too fast. Okay, so everything is mixed in. I'm trying to make sure the bottom and the sides, I've gotten everything. Okay. That looks great. That looks absolutely great and fluid. Now, this pine tar soup, this pine tar batter definitely works. It worked great. I didn't have any problems with it. That's probably because I didn't stick blend it. I'm glad I didn't. The past few times I've been stick blending my hot process, you know, to speed up the videos a little bit, but I knew I was doing pine tar, and you do not stick blend pine tar because it will get thick so fast. You have to whisk it or stir it. So I knew I wasn't going to use the stick blender this time. And I'm glad I didn't. Now, let's get my mold. Where is it? Here we go. Big 5-pound mold from Nurture Soap. Okay. First, let me get this out the way. Charcoal? Hey, charcoal? Even though you won't really see it. But, okay. I hope you can see. I hope I didn't. These darn things These are heavy. Nice and fluid. Never mind, this crock thing here is pretty hot. Well, it's not steaming hot, it's like really warm. It's pretty fluid. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Pretty fluid. Okay. Now, let me tap this down real quick. Okay. This bad boy is freshly tapped down, so I'm just going to try and clean up the sides. Get the soap away from the edge. Don't want to texture the top, or try to anyway. Maybe not really. I'm just trying to flatten it as much as I can. Texture the top. This is my texture. It's really fluid. I'm surprised actually how fluid it is. That honey definitely helps because of the sugar, and then the sodium lactate helps. This pine tar soap actually was a perfect batch. Definitely cooked perfectly. Once I put the soap back on high and off of low, wonder why it was taking so long, but this cooked perfectly. I missed a... There we go. Try and be neat. Okay. Alright. And this is it. This is my pine tar neem soap. Maybe I'll call it neem tar. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for the cutting of this neem tar. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button if you like this video, and thank you so much. Talk to you later.